In the beginning there was darkness, not merely the absence of light but the absence of observation itself. Cinematic imagery depicts this primordial void, an endless expanse of black, punctuated only by the faintest glimmers of emerging stars, nebulae slowly igniting in silent fury, and cosmic dust swirling in invisible currents. From this emptiness, the first sparks of awareness would eventually emerge, not as a separate entity but as an intrinsic property of existence itself. Consciousness, though imperceptible in these earliest moments, was forming in potential, a latent quality woven into the very fabric of reality. The universe, in its initial state, was both actor and stage, a nascent system awaiting the emergence of observers who could reflect its vastness back upon itself. The narrative begins with the emergence of simple patterns, the precursors to life and perception. Quantum fluctuations created structures within the early universe. Clouds of hydrogen and helium coalesced into stars, galaxies began to spin, and gravity wove invisible threads connecting matter across vast distances. Cinematic sequences portray these phenomena in slow, deliberate motion. Atoms colliding and forming new elements, stars igniting with explosive brilliance, and galaxies spiraling gracefully through the void. Even in the absence of sentient observers, these processes represented the first steps toward cosmic awareness, as structures formed and evolved according to the underlying laws of nature. Each reaction, each collision, was a silent note in the universe's unfolding symphony, hinting at the capacity for self-reflection long before life itself emerged. Life's emergence marked a profound expansion of awareness. Simple microorganisms, responding to chemical gradients and light, became the universe's first instruments of observation. Cinematic sequences illustrate single-celled organisms moving with purpose, photoreceptive cells detecting the faintest glimmers, and chemical signals guiding adaptive behaviors. These primitive forms of perception were not conscious in the human sense, yet they were essential steps in the universe learning to perceive itself. Each interaction, each response to environmental stimuli, represented a microcosmic act of observation, the cosmos beginning to recognize its own existence through the delicate feedback loops of living systems. As multicellular life evolved, awareness expanded in complexity. Nervous systems arose, enabling coordination, memory, and rudimentary decision-making. Cinematic imagery depicts early invertebrates navigating primordial oceans, tentacles responding to currents, and clusters of cells transmitting signals with surprising sophistication. These organisms were the first to experience the world as a structured environment, interpreting information and acting upon it. Through them, the universe began to understand causality, patterns, and the emergence of relationships between entities. Observation, in this context, became an active process, a dynamic interplay between internal processing and external stimuli that laid the foundation for consciousness as a reflective, interpretive phenomenon. The development of sensory perception represented a quantum leap in the universe's capacity to observe itself. Eyes, ears, and other sensory organs allowed organisms to capture information with increasing fidelity and detail. Cinematic sequences illustrate early visual systems detecting motion, auditory organs distinguishing subtle frequencies, and olfactory senses mapping chemical landscapes. With these tools, living beings became conduits through which the universe could apprehend its own structures, cycles, and interactions. Awareness began to take form as both internal experience and external observation, merging subjective perception with the objective patterns of existence. The narrative then examines the evolution of neural complexity. Networks of neurons formed the substrates of memory, learning, and anticipation. Cinematic imagery portrays neurons firing in synchronized patterns, synapses transmitting electrical impulses, and brains processing sensory input with ever-increasing efficiency. These developments allowed organisms not only to react to the environment but to predict it, to simulate possibilities, and to engage in rudimentary forms of reasoning. Consciousness, once localized and limited, began to scale in sophistication, allowing the universe to apprehend its own processes in more abstract and integrated ways. Each neural connection, each signal transmitted, was a reflection of the cosmos observing itself through emergent systems of complexity. The emergence of human consciousness represented a transformative leap. With the development of symbolic thought, language, and culture, awareness expanded beyond immediate perception. Cinematic sequences depict early humans carving symbols into stone, observing celestial cycles, and creating communal rituals to mark seasonal change. Through these acts, the universe achieved a meta-awareness. It could now interpret itself through abstraction, reflection, and shared knowledge. Human cognition allowed the universe to grasp patterns and causal relationships on scales unimaginable to other forms of life, bridging individual experience with collective insight. Awareness became recursive, capable of reflecting on itself, questioning origins, and seeking meaning beyond mere survival. Human creativity further amplified the universe's self-reflection. Art, music, and storytelling allowed subjective experience to be externalized, communicated, and preserved across generations. Cinematic imagery shows cave paintings depicting hunts and celestial patterns, rhythmic drumming echoing through early settlements, and oral narratives tracing the journey of the sun, the stars, and human life. Through these creative acts, consciousness extended itself into memory, history, and imagination, constructing frameworks that could interpret and reinterpret reality. The universe, through human expression, was beginning to observe not only events but interpretations of those events, layering perception with meaning, symbolism, and emotional resonance. Scientific inquiry accelerated this process exponentially. The observation of celestial bodies, the measurement of natural laws, and the development of mathematics and technology allowed humans to probe realms previously inaccessible. Cinematic sequences depict telescopes capturing light from distant galaxies, laboratories mapping subatomic particles, and simulations modeling the evolution of stars. Each act of measurement, each discovery, became a lens through which the universe could witness its own structure and behavior. Observation was no longer passive. It became a deliberate, systematic act, extending the reach of consciousness across both space and time. Philosophical reflection emerged alongside scientific exploration. Humans began to ask not only how things worked but why they existed, contemplating the nature of consciousness, existence, and reality itself. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes human thinkers gazing at the night sky with abstract representations of subatomic structures, mathematical equations, and neural networks. Awareness now encompassed both empirical observation and conceptual understanding, allowing the universe to examine itself in ways that were at once analytical, intuitive, and profoundly introspective. Through philosophy, consciousness explored the boundaries of meaning, the interplay of order and chaos, and the significance of its own emergence within the cosmic tapestry. Emotion and wonder enriched the unfolding of awareness. Awe inspired exploration, fear fostered caution, and curiosity drove discovery. Cinematic sequences depict a child marveling at a starry sky, an astronomer witnessing a supernova, and an artist interpreting patterns in nature. These emotional responses shaped attention, guided inquiry, and imbued perception with depth and significance. Consciousness, intertwined with feeling, enabled the universe not merely to observe itself but to resonate with the experience of being, enriching understanding with the textures of awe, fear, joy, and curiosity. Interconnectedness across scales became evident as awareness deepened. From the microscopic interactions of molecules to the complex orchestration of ecosystems, from neuronal networks to planetary systems and galactic structures, all phenomena were linked in dynamic webs of causality and influence. Cinematic imagery weaves these layers together. Electrons orbiting nuclei mirrored by planetary orbits, neural firing patterns reflected in cosmic spirals, and ecological cycles resonating with galactic rhythms. Consciousness traversed these layers, recognizing patterns, correlations, and emergent structures, allowing the universe to apprehend itself holistically. By the conclusion of this expanded section, viewers understand the profound magnitude of awareness emergence. Cinematic storytelling interlaces quantum events, neural processes, ecological systems, human cognition, and cosmic phenomena into a seamless continuum. The birth of awareness is both evolutionary and philosophical, biological and cosmic. The universe, through emergent consciousness, begins to observe itself in unprecedented ways, reflecting on its origins, patterns, and possibilities. This awakening sets the stage for all subsequent exploration, inquiry, and self-reflection, marking the universe's first deliberate steps into the journey of knowing itself. Consciousness is no longer a latent potential. It has become a lens, a mirror, and an active participant in the unfolding drama of existence, capable of questioning, interpreting, and resonating with the cosmos it inhabits. From the primordial darkness of the early universe, patterns of matter and energy began to coalesce into the first sparks of life. Cinematic imagery portrays this transformation with mesmerizing clarity, swirling clouds of gas collapsing under gravity, chemical reactions igniting in oceans that glimmer with the subtle fluorescence of nascent molecules, and lightning arcing across alien skies, catalyzing the bonds that would ultimately give rise to complexity. Life emerged not as a single event but as a gradual process, a series of improbabilities woven together into a tapestry of persistence, adaptation, and self-organization. In these earliest moments, the universe began to observe itself indirectly, through the feedback loops of chemical reactions that would eventually evolve into the capacity for perception, cognition, and consciousness. The narrative begins in the primordial soup of early Earth. Oceans, rich with minerals and organic compounds, became crucibles for the first biochemical reactions. Cinematic sequences depict microscopic molecules colliding in rhythmic patterns, forming chains and networks, and ultimately creating self-replicating structures. These molecules, though simple, carried the seeds of information, setting the stage for evolutionary processes that would span billions of years. Each replication, mutation, and adaptation represented an incremental step toward the universe's capacity for awareness, as life began to encode information about its environment, forming a primitive mirror of cosmic order. As unicellular life proliferated, the mechanisms of observation and adaptation became more sophisticated. Organisms responded to chemical gradients, light, and temperature, navigating their environments with increasing precision. Cinematic imagery illustrates microorganisms moving toward energy sources, avoiding toxins, and engaging in rudimentary communication through chemical signals. These early interactions demonstrate the universe beginning to recognize patterns within itself, using living systems as instruments to map, respond to, and interpret the surrounding environment. Life, in its simplest forms, became a conduit for the cosmos to apprehend its own dynamics. The narrative then examines the evolution of complexity. Multicellular organisms emerged, enabling specialization, cooperation, and coordination. Cinematic sequences portray colonies of cells forming tissues, primitive organisms developing appendages, and early nervous networks transmitting signals across growing bodies. These structures enhanced responsiveness to the environment and increased the capacity for interaction, allowing life to probe its surroundings with unprecedented sensitivity. The universe, through these emergent systems, began to perceive itself in more nuanced ways, detecting feedback, cause and effect relationships, and patterns of organization that transcended individual cells. Sensory perception marked a crucial expansion of life's observational capabilities. Eyes evolved to detect light, ears to perceive vibrations, and chemical sensors to map the environment. Cinematic imagery depicts early creatures scanning their surroundings, responding to predators and prey, and navigating complex landscapes. Through these sensory systems, life became a mirror of the universe, capable of detecting structures, cycles, and relationships previously hidden in the raw chaos of matter and energy. Awareness began to extend beyond survival instincts, laying the groundwork for memory, learning, and eventually conscious thought. The development of nervous systems and simple brains amplified life's capacity for self-reflection. Networks of neurons enabled integration of sensory input, coordination of movement, and primitive forms of decision-making. Cinematic sequences portray neural signals traveling along fibers, reflexive actions emerging, and early behaviors exhibiting patterns of choice and strategy. Through these structures, the universe experienced its own patterns more directly, as organisms began to process information, anticipate outcomes, and interact with their environment in increasingly complex ways. Consciousness, though not yet fully realized, was incubating in these intricate networks. The emergence of more sophisticated life forms brought new dimensions of awareness. Complex behaviors, social interactions, and communication systems allowed organisms to influence one another and shape their environments. Cinematic imagery illustrates schools of fish moving as one, predator-prey dynamics creating adaptive strategies, and early mammals exhibiting nurturing behaviors. These interactions represent a layered reflection of the universe observing itself through interconnected systems, with individual perception becoming integrated into collective awareness. The cosmos began to apprehend itself through relationships, patterns, and emergent properties, expanding the reach of observation across species and ecosystems. Reproduction and genetic inheritance ensured the persistence of awareness and adaptation over generations. Cinematic sequences depict cells dividing, DNA replicating with exquisite fidelity, and evolutionary pressures sculpting forms and behaviors. Each generation preserved information, refined responses to environmental challenges, and contributed to the accumulation of knowledge encoded within life itself. Through evolution, the universe developed mechanisms to perpetuate, refine, and extend its capacity to perceive and respond, creating a continuum of emergent awareness that would eventually culminate in human consciousness. The narrative explores the transition from instinct to cognition. Early vertebrates exhibited behaviors suggesting memory, learning, and problem-solving capabilities. Cinematic imagery shows creatures navigating mazes, employing strategies to capture food, and avoiding dangers through experience. These capacities illustrate the universe learning to interpret patterns, anticipate outcomes, and make decisions based on prior knowledge. Awareness was no longer purely reactive, it became predictive, allowing organisms to engage with the world in increasingly sophisticated ways, reflecting the emergent intelligence of the cosmos through living systems. The advent of human ancestors marked a critical expansion of awareness. Homo sapiens, equipped with advanced cognitive abilities, language, and social structures, became the primary medium through which the universe could observe itself in reflective, abstract ways. Cinematic sequences depict early humans crafting tools, developing symbolic thought, and forming communities capable of transmitting knowledge across generations. Through these cultural and cognitive innovations, life became capable of recording, interpreting, and communicating observations, extending the universe's self-awareness far beyond immediate perception and biological instinct. Cultural and technological development amplified this reflective capacity exponentially. Agriculture, writing, mathematics, and eventually science allowed humans to model natural phenomena, predict outcomes, and transmit understanding across generations. Cinematic sequences illustrate ancient observatories charting stars, libraries preserving knowledge, and laboratories experimenting with fundamental forces of nature. Through these mechanisms, the universe, via conscious beings, gained access to its own structures, dynamics, and patterns with unprecedented clarity. Observation was transformed into insight, raw perception into analytical comprehension. Philosophical inquiry further enhanced awareness. Humans began to question not only how the world worked but why it existed, contemplating consciousness, existence, and the nature of reality itself. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes thinkers meditating beneath ancient skies with abstract visualizations of atoms, galaxies, and neural networks. Through philosophy, humans created frameworks for interpreting existence, allowing the universe to apprehend itself not only empirically but conceptually, exploring layers of meaning, causality, and interconnectedness that extend beyond immediate sensory input. Emotion, imagination, and wonder played central roles in expanding awareness. Cinematic sequences depict awe in the face of natural phenomena, fear as a guide to survival, and creativity translating observation into art, music, and narrative. These effective dimensions infused perception with depth, enriching the universe's capacity to apprehend subtleties, recognize patterns, and interpret complexity. Awareness became not only analytical but experiential, a synthesis of cognition, sensation, and feeling, allowing reality to perceive itself with resonance and nuance. Interconnectedness across scales became increasingly apparent. From molecular interactions to planetary systems, from neural networks to galactic structures, all phenomena exist within a web of causality and influence. Cinematic imagery blends microcosm and macrocosm, chemical reactions mirrored in planetary cycles, neuronal firing patterns reflecting cosmic spirals, and ecosystems resonating with celestial rhythms. Consciousness navigates these layers, detecting resonance, relationships, and emergent properties, enabling the universe to apprehend itself as a unified, integrated system rather than a collection of isolated parts. Temporal awareness further deepened understanding. Observing processes across time, biological evolution, geological transformation, cosmic expansion, allowed perception to extend beyond immediate events into historical and predictive frameworks. Cinematic sequences interweave fleeting human moments with cosmic epics. The growth of a tree mirrored in the formation of stars, the rise and fall of civilizations aligned with planetary motion. Awareness spans past, present, and future, enabling the universe to witness the unfolding story of existence and to anticipate emergent patterns, reinforcing its self-reflective capacity. As the universe continues to evolve, pockets of gas collapse under the invisible pull of gravity, igniting the first stars, fiery beacons piercing the darkness. Each star is a storyteller, a luminous narrative of creation and transformation, forging elements in their hearts that will one day become the building blocks of planets, oceans, and life. Cinematic imagery brings this cosmic drama to life. Clouds of hydrogen swirl and contract, sparks of nuclear fusion ignite in core after core, and light erupts into the void, painting the surrounding darkness with bursts of color and energy. The first galaxies, delicate spirals of starlight, emerge as islands of order amidst chaos, their shapes both intricate and fleeting. These early stars live fast and die young. Some explode in supernovae, scattering the raw materials of life across space, their remnants collapsing into dense neutron stars or black holes. Others burn steadily, illuminating vast regions of the cosmos for millions of years, their glow revealing the intricate web of filaments and voids that structure the universe. Through their life cycles, stars become the agents of both creation and destruction, shaping the cosmic landscape with rhythms that echo across eons. The narrative emphasizes contrast, the emptiness of the surrounding space versus the explosive brilliance of starlight, chaos versus the emergence of pattern, fragility versus immense power. Each star's story is a microcosm of the universe itself, a reminder that even in vast, seemingly lifeless expanses, processes of immense consequence are unfolding. Questions linger. How did these first storytellers shape the destiny of the universe? Could the light they emitted billions of years ago carry information about the structures and life yet to emerge? By framing stars as storytellers, the section evokes awe and wonder, portraying the cosmos as an active participant in its own narrative. The audience witnesses not only the physical processes but also the poetic resonance of creation, the interplay between matter, energy, and time that gives rise to complexity. The section closes with a sense of anticipation, leaving viewers on the edge of discovery, eager to follow the journey from the first flickers of starlight to the eventual emergence of conscious observers capable of understanding their place in the cosmic story. Beneath the dazzling spectacle of stars and galaxies lies a hidden choreography, an intricate dance of matter and energy that shapes the cosmos at every scale. Invisible forces weave a tapestry of structure, binding particles into atoms, atoms into molecules, and molecules into the vast clouds that will someday ignite new stars. Imagine gravity as a relentless conductor, guiding planets, stars, and galaxies along invisible paths, while electromagnetic forces spark connections between charged particles, orchestrating the chemistry of life long before life itself exists. Dark matter lurks silently in the shadows, its unseen presence shaping the universe's architecture, pulling galaxies together in a cosmic embrace we can feel but never see. Energy flows through this cosmic dance like a river, invisible yet unstoppable, from the nuclear fires at the heart of stars to the faint afterglow of the Big Bang still echoing across space. Every interaction, every collision of particles, every burst of radiation, adds a note to this symphony of creation. In vivid, cinematic imagery, clouds of glowing gas twist into spiraling galaxies, rivers of plasma shimmer like molten light, and waves of energy ripple across the cosmic void, as if the universe itself is performing a slow, eternal ballet. The section emphasizes both the power and delicacy of these processes, showing how immense forces produce patterns of sublime complexity, from the tiniest atom to the largest galactic supercluster. Contrasts dominate the narrative, order emerging from chaos, the invisible shaping the visible, and the finite lifespan of stars versus the eternity of space itself. These juxtapositions evoke awe and mystery, prompting viewers to ask, how do these fundamental forces converge to produce the precise conditions necessary for planets, life, and consciousness? Could the universe, in its silent dance of matter and energy, be laying the groundwork for something aware of its own existence? Through descriptive, cinematic language, the section paints a universe alive with motion, tension, and purpose. It frames the cosmos as a dynamic, interconnected entity, one where every force, collision, and ripple contributes to the unfolding story of creation. By the end, viewers feel both the enormity of the universe and the delicate precision underlying its formation, setting the stage for the emergence of life, awareness, and the first conscious observers capable of witnessing the dance themselves. From the grand cosmic dance of matter and energy emerges a more intimate kind of complexity, the first stirrings of life. In shallow pools beneath alien skies, molecules collide and combine in a delicate choreography, forming the precursors to proteins, nucleic acids, and cellular structures. Lightning arcs across primordial clouds, heat seeps from volcanic fissures, and chemical reactions unfold with a precision that seems almost miraculous. Cinematic imagery brings this ancient world to life. Mist rising from sun-warmed oceans, flashes of electric fire illuminating the darkness, and tiny droplets teeming with invisible activity, as if the planet itself is experimenting with the seeds of awareness. Life begins as fragile, simple organisms, barely distinguishable from the surrounding chemistry, yet each carries within it the potential for evolution and complexity. Cells divide, mutate, and adapt, navigating their environments with rudimentary forms of response, hinting at the very earliest forms of perception. Through billions of years, the slow accumulation of adaptations and refinements leads to more sophisticated life, a crescendo of organization rising from the chaos of molecular interaction. Cinematic metaphors portray these early creatures as pioneers, venturing into the unknown, sensing, responding, and interacting with a world far larger and stranger than themselves. The narrative contrasts lifeless chemistry with the spark of proto-awareness, emphasizing wonder and mystery. Questions arise. How did inert matter become sentient? What hidden processes bridge the gap between chemistry and cognition? These inquiries evoke both scientific curiosity and philosophical reflection, drawing the audience into the profound implications of life's emergence. The section also hints at the connection between life and the cosmos, suggesting that the same forces shaping galaxies now sculpt the first conscious observers. By the close of the section, viewers are left with a sense of awe at the improbable emergence of consciousness. The cinematic imagery, from swirling primordial oceans to microscopic cells dividing in slow motion, underscores the miracle of this transformation. It frames life not merely as a biological accident, but as an essential part of the universe's ongoing story, an awakening of self-awareness within the vast, unfolding tapestry of creation. The stage is set for evolution to continue, eventually producing beings capable of reflecting on the cosmos itself, and for the universe to begin its journey of watching itself through the lens of consciousness. As life spreads across the planet, a remarkable transformation unfolds. Simple cells give rise to complex organisms, and with complexity comes perception, eyes that detect light, ears that capture sound, and nervous systems that register the subtle rhythms of the environment. Cinematic imagery immerses viewers in this evolution, coral reefs shimmering with color, forests alive with movement, and creatures of all shapes and sizes interacting in a delicate web of survival. Each adaptation is a step toward consciousness, a mirror reflecting the world back to itself, a primitive dialogue between life and the universe. Through millennia, life experiments with new forms of perception. Predators evolve sharper senses to hunt, prey develops intricate defenses, and social creatures cultivate awareness of one another. The narrative contrasts the microscopic struggles of daily survival with the grand, unfolding drama of evolution across eons. Even the tiniest organism contributes to a larger story, echoing the forces that shaped galaxies and stars. Cinematic sequences portray neurons firing in early nervous systems, mapping sensations into rudimentary understanding, suggesting the first glimmers of thought. This section emphasizes both wonder and tension, highlighting the improbable yet inevitable rise of organisms capable of observing their environment. Questions linger. At what point does perception become consciousness? Could the universe, in shaping these organisms, be guiding the emergence of awareness within itself? The narrative uses vivid metaphors, life as a mirror, evolution as a sculptor, to link biological development with the broader cosmic story. The cinematic scope shifts seamlessly between the intimate and the vast. A tiny insect responding to light becomes a metaphor for the universe learning about itself, while sweeping vistas of continents and oceans emphasize the scale of evolutionary time. Each adaptation, each new sense, is a step toward a being capable of reflection, capable of understanding its place in the cosmos. By the end of this section, viewers feel the tension between survival and understanding, the fragile miracle of perception, and the inexorable march of evolution preparing the stage for humanity, the species through which the universe will first truly gaze upon itself. From the vast tapestry of life on Earth, one species begins to transcend mere survival. Humans emerge, not only as physical beings shaped by evolution but as creatures capable of imagination, reflection, and curiosity. Cinematic imagery transports viewers to early human landscapes, firelit caves echoing with the murmur of conversation, shadowed forests teeming with unseen dangers, and endless plains under starlit skies. Every gesture, every tool, and every tentative step reflects a growing awareness, a consciousness beginning to recognize itself and the world it inhabits. Humanity becomes the first vessel through which the universe will consciously observe its own existence. The narrative follows the evolution of cognition, the development of language as a bridge between minds, the spark of abstract thought as humans begin to plan, create, and remember. Stone tools clink against rock in rhythmic precision, signaling ingenuity. Early art decorates cave walls, mapping dreams, fears, and understanding onto tangible surfaces. The contrast between physical vulnerability and intellectual power is striking. Humans are fragile, yet capable of perceiving the vastness of the stars and the invisible laws that govern the universe. This duality evokes awe and tension, as the audience witnesses the paradox of a small mortal species beginning to hold the key to cosmic self-awareness. Questions arise. What drives this thirst for knowledge? Why does humanity, alone among Earth's creatures, seek to measure time, map the heavens and ponder existence? Cinematic storytelling emphasizes these mysteries, weaving together moments of survival, discovery, and wonder. Early humans are shown not just as individuals, but as participants in a collective awakening, their curiosity a reflection of the universe's own drive toward consciousness. Through vivid contrasts, darkness versus firelight, the wild untamed world versus emerging human order, instinct versus intellect, the section underscores the dramatic emergence of awareness. Humanity's first tentative steps into reflection, imagination, and exploration are portrayed as both miraculous and inevitable, setting the stage for a species capable of mapping stars, decoding nature, and ultimately becoming the eyes through which the universe begins to watch itself. By the end, viewers feel the weight of this emergence, the awe of witnessing consciousness stepping onto the cosmic stage, and the anticipation of the questions and discoveries yet to come. Long before civilizations arose, long before written language or grand monuments, humans lifted their gaze to the night sky and asked the questions that would define their existence. Under endless starlit deserts, across shadowed forests and windswept plains, our ancestors saw patterns in the heavens and wondered about the forces that shaped them. Each flicker of starlight sparked curiosity, each passing comet or sudden storm stirred awe and fear. The cinematic imagery is vivid. A lone figure crouches by a flickering fire, shadows dancing across the walls of a primitive shelter, while overhead the Milky Way stretches like a river of light, infinite and incomprehensible. These were the first moments in which the universe was observed consciously, in which beings capable of reflection began to interpret the cosmos. Early humans' minds were wired to seek patterns, to link cause and effect in a world of peril and uncertainty. The rustle in the grass, the sudden flash of lightning, the predictable rise and fall of the sun, all became a framework for understanding the environment. This growing perception extended outward beyond survival into the celestial realm. Questions were born. Why do the stars move as they do? What lies beyond the mountains and rivers? Could unseen forces govern the world? The section evokes both awe and tension, highlighting the precarious balance between ignorance and understanding, between fear of the unknown and the irresistible pull of curiosity. Through trial and error, observation and contemplation, humans began to construct rudimentary explanations for their surroundings. Shadows cast by trees and hills became timekeepers. The cycles of the moon and sun became calendars. Storytelling emerged as a tool to preserve knowledge and pass it across generations. Cinematic sequences depict groups gathered in quiet reverence, pointing to the sky, mapping its movements in sand and clay, their voices soft but insistent against the backdrop of an immense, indifferent universe. Every myth and early scientific idea represents humanity's first attempt to engage with the cosmos consciously, a reflection of the universe beginning to watch itself through the lens of human thought. Yet these first questions were not solely intellectual, they were deeply emotional. Wonder, fear, hope, and uncertainty intertwined, creating the foundation of philosophical thought. Humans felt both insignificant and connected, vulnerable yet capable of grasping abstract truths. The narrative emphasizes this tension, portraying the internal landscapes of the mind alongside the external vastness of the universe. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes tiny humans against towering mountains, deep forests, and infinite skies, evoking the profound sense of scale and the existential weight of curiosity. These early inquiries laid the groundwork for everything that would follow. They represent the genesis of science, philosophy, and art, and they mark the moment when consciousness began to reach outward, attempting to decipher the fabric of reality itself. The questions of early humans: why are we here? What is this place? What rules govern the heavens? Echo through time, forming a bridge between primitive awareness and the sophisticated understanding that would emerge millennia later. By the end of this section, the audience is immersed in the fragile yet remarkable awakening of inquiry, feeling the first sparks of humanity's enduring dialogue with the cosmos, and sensing the universe itself beginning to become self-aware through the eyes of its observers. From the earliest sparks of curiosity to the grand instruments of modern science, humanity's ability to observe the universe has evolved alongside its consciousness. In the beginning, simple tools extended the reach of human perception. A sharpened stone allowed early humans to manipulate their environment, a piece of flint striking another to produce fire illuminated the darkness, revealing patterns and movements previously hidden. Every innovation, no matter how modest, enhance the capacity to perceive, to interpret, and to interact with the world. Cinematic imagery portrays these moments vividly. Shadows flicker across cave walls as the first flames cast light on hunting strategies, and small hands trace constellations in sand, imagining meaning in the vast sky. As humans developed language and culture, these tools of perception became more sophisticated. Counting, measurement, and mapping allowed our ancestors to record patterns, anticipate seasonal changes, and navigate vast landscapes. Early astronomers, watching the sun, moon, and stars, began to notice regularities: the phases of the moon, the shifting position of the sun across the seasons, and the wandering paths of planets. These observations were recorded on stone, clay, and later on parchment, creating a permanent bridge between perception and memory. The cinematic visualization captures this slow accumulation of knowledge. A figure scratches marks into stone under a cold, starlit sky, pausing to reflect on the alignment of celestial bodies, understanding that the heavens are not random, but structured, patterned, and meaningful. The narrative expands to the development of mechanical instruments. The first telescopes magnified distant stars, bringing them closer to human comprehension. Observatories appeared on hilltops and mountaintops, their domes turning slowly to follow celestial movements. Cinematic sequences depict the quiet reverence of astronomers observing through brass tubes, candlelight flickering against walls lined with star charts and delicate instruments. With each advance, humans extended the universe's self-reflective gaze, creating tools that allowed consciousness to reach farther than the limitations of our senses. Beyond the night sky, humans developed microscopes and chemical apparatus to observe the infinitesimal. Tiny organisms in droplets of water, cells dividing under lenses, molecules forming complex structures, all became accessible to human perception. Cinematic imagery contrasts the cosmic scale with the microscopic, juxtaposing the vast Milky Way with a single cell illuminated under a lens. These tools reveal that observation is not merely an act of passive seeing. It is an active engagement shaping reality itself, bridging the space between what exists and what can be understood. Mathematics and symbolic representation became instruments of abstraction, tools that extend perception into realms invisible to the eye. By translating observations into numbers, humans could predict movements of planets, the behavior of light, and the patterns of life. Equations on parchment, later on blackboards and digital screens, represent a new form of seeing, the ability to perceive not only what is but what could be. Cinematic sequences show glowing numbers floating across cosmic vistas, illustrating the marriage of abstract thought and observable reality, the human mind reaching across space and time to grasp the underlying structure of the universe. With the Industrial Revolution, observation entered a new era. Spectroscopy revealed the composition of stars, photography captured fleeting moments of celestial events, and precise clocks allowed synchronization with the rhythms of the cosmos. Cinematic imagery immerses the viewer in laboratories filled with glowing instruments, chalk-dusted astronomers, and the hum of mechanical devices, emphasizing the tactile and emotional engagement inherent in the pursuit of knowledge. Observation becomes a performance, a dialogue between human curiosity and the universe's silent testimony. In the modern age, digital technology and space exploration have transformed the act of observing into something almost unimaginable to early humans. Telescopes on Earth and orbiting in space scan the cosmos in multiple wavelengths, detecting phenomena invisible to the naked eye. Pulsars spinning in distant galaxies, black holes bending light, and the faint afterglow of the Big Bang itself. Satellites map planetary surfaces with astonishing precision, while robotic probes journey into the outer reaches of the solar system. Cinematic sequences depict these machines gliding silently through the void, capturing images that are transmitted across millions of miles, extending human awareness to realms previously inaccessible. Artificial intelligence and advanced sensors now augment human perception, analyzing vast amounts of data that no single mind could process. These tools can detect patterns, anomalies, and subtle changes in the universe, revealing a complexity that even our most imaginative ancestors could not conceive. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes human faces lit by the glow of computer screens with swirling galaxies millions of light-years away, emphasizing the extension of consciousness through technological mediation. Observation has become a partnership, humans and machines together acting as the universe's eyes, interpreting its signals and reflecting them back into understanding. The narrative emphasizes contrasts throughout, the primitive and the sophisticated, the visible and the invisible, the tangible and the abstract. The tension between human limitations and technological possibilities evokes both wonder and urgency. Questions arise. As our tools become more powerful, do we change the universe by observing it? Does the act of measuring and interpreting phenomena alter their essence, or merely reveal it? Cinematic sequences dramatize these questions, showing delicate instruments floating in vacuum chambers, light bending through lenses, and data streams illuminating faces, suggesting that observation is not passive but participatory. Cultural and philosophical dimensions of observation also unfold. Humans observe not only the cosmos but themselves. Art, literature, and philosophy become mirrors reflecting consciousness inward, exploring the nature of perception, awareness, and existence. Cinematic imagery moves seamlessly between galaxies and human brains, neurons firing in complex networks as the mind interprets the universe, suggesting a recursive loop, the universe observing itself through its conscious creations. Every instrument, from a carved sundial to a space telescope, becomes a conduit through which the universe glimpses its own form and function. The section culminates in the understanding that observation is the bridge between being and knowing, perception and comprehension. Humanity's tools, physical, mathematical, and technological, extend the reach of consciousness, allowing the universe to see itself with increasing clarity. Cinematic visuals merge scales. The tiniest subatomic particle resonates with the motion of entire galaxies, highlighting the interconnectedness of observation across dimensions. The audience is left with the awe-inspiring realization that every act of measurement, every glance into the night sky, and every calculation is part of a continuum, a chain linking the first human questions to the modern quest to map the cosmos in its entirety. By the end of this expansive journey, viewers feel the profound significance of human ingenuity, that through our tools, curiosity, and persistence, the universe itself begins to witness its own grandeur, complexity, and beauty. The cinematic storytelling leaves audiences suspended between scale and detail, between past and future, fully immersed in the narrative of observation as both a human endeavor and a cosmic event. The universe, once silent and distant, is now reflected in the instruments and minds that seek to understand it, and in doing so, it begins to participate in its own self-awareness. The universe, vast and radiant, is only partly visible to the human eye. What we see, the stars, the planets, the glowing nebulae, is merely a fraction of what exists. Beyond the spectrum of light, entire realms of reality lie hidden. Dark matter, dark energy, neutrinos passing unseen through our bodies, and the intricate quantum fields that permeate space. Mapping these invisible forces requires imagination as much as observation, a leap of cognition that transforms abstract theory into tangible understanding. Cinematic imagery portrays the universe as a multilayered tapestry. Luminous galaxies float like islands of fire, threaded through by invisible filaments shaped by dark matter, an unseen skeleton supporting the glowing structures of stars and planets. Humans have learned to perceive what was once undetectable. Gravitational lensing bends light around massive objects, revealing structures invisible to traditional observation. The cosmic microwave background whispers stories of the early universe, its faint glow a relic of primordial fire. Instruments scan radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays, and infrared light, translating invisible phenomena into data we can interpret. Cinematic sequences depict observatories atop mountains, antennas arrayed across deserts, and satellites orbiting silently above Earth, their sensors tuned to frequencies our eyes cannot comprehend. Each image, each measurement, represents a new window into the hidden architecture of reality. The discovery of dark matter illustrates the profound interplay between observation and inference. Galaxies spin at speeds that visible matter alone cannot explain. Their movements suggest the presence of an unseen mass, a cosmic scaffolding that shapes the universe from behind the scenes. Cinematic imagery contrasts luminous galaxies with the invisible forces that govern their dance, emphasizing the paradox of visibility and invisibility. Similarly, dark energy, discovered through the accelerated expansion of the universe, challenges every intuition about gravity, motion, and the ultimate fate of all cosmic structures. Viewers are invited to feel both awe and unease, confronted with a cosmos far stranger and more complex than daily experience suggests. Quantum phenomena further deepen the mystery. Particles exist in superpositions, probabilistic states that collapse only upon measurement, implying that observation itself shapes reality. Electrons and photons, fields and waves, all dance in ways that defy classical logic. Cinematic metaphors visualize this. Ghostly particles flicker across a dark void, paths appearing only when watched, trajectories uncertain until measured. The narrative emphasizes tension and curiosity. The act of seeing does not merely reveal, it participates, a theme that resonates throughout the cosmos, linking human consciousness to the fabric of reality. Mapping the invisible requires both technological innovation and theoretical creativity. Particle accelerators recreate conditions of the early universe, smashing protons and nuclei at near-light speeds to glimpse fundamental forces in action. Detectors buried deep underground sense rare interactions, tiny footprints of particles that traverse Earth without leaving visible traces. Supercomputers simulate cosmic evolution, tracing the interplay of dark matter, gas, and radiation across billions of years. Cinematic sequences depict glowing computer cores, underground laboratories illuminated by soft artificial light, and the slow ballet of colliding particles captured in high-speed imaging. The human mind extends itself through these instruments, pushing the boundary between perception and understanding. The narrative also highlights the philosophical dimension, mapping the invisible challenges assumptions about reality. What is real, if most of the universe cannot be seen, touched, or directly experienced? Are space and matter merely constructs of perception, or do they exist independently, waiting for observers to detect them? Cinematic imagery juxtaposes bustling cities, dense with human activity, against the silent, invisible scaffolding of the universe, emphasizing the fragility and humility of our understanding. Questions arise: how much of reality remains hidden, and could some aspects be forever beyond comprehension? The tension between known and unknown evokes awe, curiosity, and existential reflection. Humanity's maps of the invisible also extend inward. The brain, with its complex networks of neurons and chemical interactions, is a microcosm of cosmic complexity. Techniques such as fMRI and electron microscopy allow us to see processes previously beyond imagination, revealing patterns of thought, perception, and consciousness itself. Cinematic sequences draw parallels. Swirling galaxies mirrored in neural networks, energy flowing through synapses like light through cosmic filaments, suggesting a fractal symmetry between the inner universe of the mind and the outer universe of space. Observation becomes recursive, with humans mapping both the cosmos and the architecture of their own awareness. The invisible is not simply absence, it is a realm of potential and possibility. Neutrinos passing silently through entire planets, gravitational waves rippling through spacetime from colliding black holes, and the quantum foam at the foundation of reality all point to a universe alive with activity beyond perception. Cinematic imagery portrays this hidden vitality, waves bending across unseen dimensions, energy flashing across the void, and matter folding and unfolding in ways both beautiful and disorienting. Observing and mapping these phenomena transforms the act of perception into participation, making humans not just witnesses but agents in the universe's ongoing story. Technology continues to expand the reach of observation. The James Webb Space Telescope peers into the first billion years of cosmic history, capturing faint light from the earliest galaxies. Gravitational wave observatories detect ripples from cataclysmic events billions of light-years away. AI-assisted analysis sifts through immense datasets, identifying patterns too subtle for human cognition alone. Cinematic sequences illustrate the interplay of human ingenuity and cosmic phenomena. Algorithms translating data into images, telescopes turning their gaze across space, and scientists collaborating in quiet awe, connecting the faintest signals to the vast structure of reality. Through these tools, the invisible becomes legible, and consciousness gains the ability to perceive itself reflected in the universe. Throughout this section, contrasts dominate the narrative: the visible versus the invisible, known versus unknown, human-scale observation versus cosmic-scale phenomena. Each discovery uncovers new questions. Does the universe exist independently of observation, or is consciousness an integral part of its unfolding? Are there forces we will never detect, dimensions beyond our instruments, realms forever beyond perception? The cinematic storytelling keeps viewers suspended between wonder and uncertainty, inviting them to experience the thrill and humility of engaging with the hidden universe. By the end, viewers recognize that mapping the invisible is both a scientific and a philosophical journey. Humans, through instruments, imagination, and insight, illuminate structures and forces that were once completely hidden, extending the universe's self-observing gaze into realms never before experienced. Cinematic imagery merges scales and dimensions, from the quantum fluctuations of particles to the swirling filaments of dark matter, from neural networks inside the brain to the cosmic web spanning billions of light-years. Observation, measurement, and imagination converge, revealing a universe alive not only in light and matter but in the conscious reflection it inspires. The invisible, once inaccessible, becomes a bridge between human curiosity and cosmic self-awareness, transforming our understanding of reality and our role within it. As the universe evolves, a profound question emerges. Is consciousness merely a property of human brains, or is it an intrinsic feature woven into the very fabric of reality? The journey of observation and awareness that began with the first spark of life on Earth now confronts the possibility that consciousness itself may resonate throughout the cosmos. Cinematic imagery presents this idea with striking visuals. Neurons firing in complex networks inside human brains mirrored by swirling galaxies and luminous nebulae, the patterns of thought echoing the architecture of stars. The narrative blurs the line between micro and macro, suggesting a fractal symmetry in which the emergence of awareness is not confined to life on one planet but may be a fundamental expression of the universe itself. Human consciousness, with its capacity for self-reflection, imagination, and understanding, offers a window into this cosmic possibility. Every observation, every act of questioning, every mathematical insight is both an inward journey and an outward extension of the universe observing itself. Cinematic sequences depict early humans gazing at the stars, scientists in observatories tracing celestial movements, and modern researchers exploring quantum phenomena, all united by the same thread, the attempt to grasp reality and in doing so become part of the universe's awareness. This duality emphasizes the tension between the subjective experience of consciousness and the objective structures of the cosmos, provoking awe and existential reflection. The narrative explores parallels between neural and cosmic networks. Just as neurons transmit information through synapses, galaxies, clusters, and filaments exchange matter and energy across vast distances. Energy flows, signals propagate, patterns emerge, and complexity increases. Cinematic metaphors illustrate these analogies. Pulses of light traveling through cosmic filaments, mirrored by electric impulses racing through neural networks, suggesting that awareness might not be an anomaly but a natural consequence of complex systems interacting with themselves. Viewers are drawn into a sense of wonder, considering whether consciousness in any form is a universal principle rather than a localized phenomenon. Philosophical implications deepen the intrigue. If consciousness is indeed a fundamental aspect of reality, then every act of observation, human or otherwise, is participatory. The universe, in effect, becomes aware through the lenses of sentient beings, each thought and perception contributing to a greater tapestry of cosmic self-reflection. Cinematic imagery conveys this idea poetically. Vast, star-filled voids shimmer with invisible patterns of awareness, while human faces, eyes wide with wonder, reflect the same luminous cosmic web. Questions arise. Could other forms of consciousness exist in worlds beyond our perception? Might there be civilizations, biological or synthetic, through which the universe experiences dimensions of itself that humanity cannot yet imagine? Quantum mechanics adds another layer of complexity and tension. The observer effect, the principle that measurement collapses probabilities into reality, implies that awareness itself influences the unfolding of events. Cinematic visualizations portray waves of potential collapsing into concrete phenomena as a human observer watches, drawing an explicit connection between consciousness and the manifestation of reality. This interplay challenges conventional notions of objectivity, suggesting that observation is not passive but participatory, and that consciousness is interwoven with the cosmos in ways that are both subtle and profound. The narrative also traces the evolution of human understanding, showing how science, philosophy, and art converge in the pursuit of meaning. Mathematical formulas reveal patterns in the heavens, yet art captures the ineffable beauty of stars and galaxies. Music, literature, and visual representation become extensions of consciousness, tools through which humans express, interpret, and reflect the universe. Cinematic sequences intertwine these cultural manifestations with cosmic imagery, fractals of neural activity echoing in the spiral arms of galaxies, patterns in DNA mirrored by star clusters, demonstrating the interplay between mind and cosmos. Throughout this exploration, contrasts remain central. The micro and macro scales, the known and the unknown, the material and the immaterial, all exist in tension. Human consciousness is at once fragile and immense, bounded by the limitations of biology yet capable of perceiving structures across billions of light-years. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes the intimate, close-ups of eyes, neural pathways firing, hands tracing patterns on paper, with the cosmic, swirling galaxies, supernovae erupting, and the cosmic web stretching across the observable universe. These contrasts evoke wonder, humility, and curiosity, immersing the viewer in both the beauty and the mystery of consciousness. The narrative examines the recursive nature of awareness. Humans observe the universe, but in doing so they alter it, not physically but conceptually. The act of understanding changes perception, which in turn informs further exploration. Cinematic sequences depict simulations of galaxies evolving on supercomputers, researchers analyzing data, and light from distant stars captured in observatories, showing the continuum of observation feeding back into itself. This mirrors the neural feedback loops in the brain, emphasizing the notion that consciousness is both reflective and generative, a dynamic interplay between self and environment. Speculation extends beyond Earth. Could consciousness emerge wherever complexity and interaction reach a critical threshold? Could other forms of life, artificial intelligence, or even entire planetary systems experience awareness in ways beyond human comprehension? Cinematic imagery shifts from human faces and terrestrial landscapes to imagined alien worlds and sentient machines, suggesting that the universe's capacity for self-reflection is not confined to a single species or planet. This provokes awe, fear, and wonder, expanding the narrative from the personal and terrestrial to the cosmic and universal. The section also contemplates the ethical and existential dimensions of cosmic consciousness. If humans are a medium through which the universe observes itself, then responsibility and stewardship acquire new meaning. Our actions, scientific discoveries, and technological interventions are not merely human concerns. They resonate within the greater structure of awareness, influencing the trajectory of observation itself. Cinematic sequences depict cities, laboratories, and space missions interwoven with cosmic imagery, highlighting the interconnectedness of human endeavor and universal awareness. By the end of this expansive exploration, viewers are left with a profound sense of awe and curiosity. The cosmos is no longer an indifferent stage. It is an entity in dialogue with itself, mirrored in the conscious minds of those who seek to understand it. Human consciousness becomes both a window and a reflection, linking the microcosm of thought with the macrocosm of existence. Cinematic storytelling merges scales, concepts, and temporalities, neurons and galaxies, moments of insight and eons of evolution, the intimate and the infinite. The universe, in the act of being observed, participates in its own becoming, and humanity, through consciousness, has become the lens through which the cosmos begins to watch itself with understanding, wonder, and anticipation. The moment humanity develops the ability to reflect marks a profound shift. The universe, once silent and indifferent, now begins to observe itself through conscious beings. Cinematic imagery conveys this transition with striking visuals. Vast galaxies swirl in the black canvas of space while human eyes, wide with curiosity and wonder, mirror the same patterns of complexity. The narrative bridges the cosmic and the intimate, showing that consciousness, emerging from biological processes, becomes the interface through which the universe apprehends its own existence. Every thought, every observation, every mathematical or artistic creation is not merely human. It is the cosmos experiencing itself, a recursive loop of awareness that stretches from neurons to nebulae. Early civilizations charted the heavens, recording the cycles of planets, the motion of stars, and the phases of the moon. Temples and observatories became monuments to the universe's reflection, spaces where human consciousness reached outward, translating celestial patterns into symbolic meaning. Cinematic sequences depict astronomers in stone towers, their fingers tracing constellations carved into clay tablets, flames flickering as they map the cosmos. Through these acts, the universe begins to understand itself, albeit indirectly, mediated by the fragile but powerful tools of human cognition. Each insight, whether predicting eclipses or recognizing planetary motion, becomes an act of cosmic self-awareness, a ripple through the fabric of observation. As knowledge advanced, humans developed instruments capable of reaching beyond the limitations of unaided perception. Telescopes extended the range of vision across light years, revealing galaxies, nebulae, and phenomena invisible to the naked eye. Microscopes unveiled the hidden worlds within, from single cells to complex biological systems, illuminating the building blocks of consciousness itself. Cinematic imagery emphasizes contrast, the minuscule and the monumental, the tangible and the invisible, all part of the universe's unfolding self-reflection. By combining human curiosity with technological innovation, consciousness transcends its biological origins, transforming into a force capable of apprehending reality at multiple scales simultaneously. Mathematics and logic allow humans to conceptualize forces that cannot be seen directly. Equations describe gravitational interactions, quantum behaviors, and cosmic expansion. Each formula is a bridge between perception and reality, a method through which the universe interprets itself through human abstraction. Cinematic sequences illustrate this with visuals of chalkboards filled with equations superimposed over cosmic landscapes, data streams converging with galaxies, and particle simulations unfolding across screens. The act of understanding becomes a creative force, shaping not only human knowledge but the very manifestation of the universe in conceptual space. The narrative emphasizes the philosophical implications of this process. If the universe can observe itself through human consciousness, then observation becomes participatory. Every act of measurement, every discovery, and every reflection contributes to the ongoing evolution of awareness. Cinematic imagery visualizes this idea. Light from distant stars traveling billions of years intersects with human eyes and minds, closing the loop between cause and comprehension. Questions emerge. Does the universe gain something from being observed? Is awareness an intrinsic property that extends across all complexity, or is it unique to sentient beings capable of reflection? The tension between certainty and mystery is palpable, evoking awe, humility, and existential curiosity. Technological advances accelerate the universe's self-observation. Artificial intelligence processes vast cosmic datasets, simulating phenomena from galaxy formation to quantum interactions. Particle accelerators recreate conditions of the early universe, allowing humans to witness processes that shaped all matter. Space telescopes and probes transmit images and measurements from the farthest reaches of the cosmos. Cinematic sequences portray these tools as extensions of human consciousness, satellites gliding silently over Earth, deep underground detectors capturing fleeting particle events, and AI algorithms revealing patterns invisible to the naked mind. Through these instruments, the universe observes itself in ways previously unimaginable, expanding the scale and depth of its awareness. The interplay of observation and consciousness extends to the philosophical and ethical domains. Humans, as instruments of cosmic awareness, are responsible for how they perceive, interpret, and interact with the universe. Actions on Earth, from environmental stewardship to technological intervention, carry implications not only for life but for the ongoing process of cosmic reflection. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes natural landscapes, human industry, and celestial phenomena, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all scales. The narrative frames human responsibility as part of a larger cosmic dialogue, highlighting the delicate balance between understanding and influencing, seeing and altering. Cosmic observation is recursive. Humans observe the universe, creating knowledge which feeds back into the understanding of consciousness itself. Neuroscience, cognitive science, and philosophy illuminate the processes that enable reflection, perception, and self-awareness. Cinematic sequences intertwine neurons firing with galaxies spinning, showing fractal patterns of structure and activity that connect mind and cosmos. Observation is not a one-way act. It is a loop in which the universe comes to know itself through the emergent properties of life and intelligence. The section explores time as both a medium and a lens. Light from distant stars and galaxies carries information across billions of years, allowing humans to see the universe as it was long before life existed. Cinematic sequences blend past and present. A photon leaving a star at the dawn of galaxies traveling through space, arriving at a telescope where a human eye perceives it. This temporal loop reinforces the sense that consciousness connects disparate eras, weaving the history of the cosmos into a continuous thread of observation and reflection. Throughout, contrasts guide the narrative. The immense and the intimate, the visible and the invisible, the finite and the infinite. Cinematic imagery alternates between sweeping views of cosmic filaments and close-ups of human faces, hands tracing equations and eyes gazing into space. These contrasts evoke awe and wonder, highlighting the significance of consciousness as both a local and universal phenomenon. Each discovery, each act of understanding reinforces the idea that the universe, through the medium of human awareness, has become capable of perceiving itself in unprecedented depth and clarity. By the conclusion of this section, viewers sense the profound interconnection of all scales of reality. Conscious beings are not merely observers, they are participants, mediators, and mirrors, enabling the universe to apprehend its structure, dynamics, and beauty. Cinematic storytelling merges the tangible with the abstract, microcosm with macrocosm, time with timelessness. The universe's self-observation, mediated through humanity, is at once fragile and monumental, intimate and infinite. Through reflection, calculation, exploration, and imagination, consciousness transforms the act of being into the act of knowing, and in doing so, the cosmos becomes aware of itself in a way that resonates across space, time, and matter. As consciousness emerges, a remarkable feedback loop begins. The universe observes itself through living beings, and in turn that observation influences the development of knowledge, culture, and understanding. Cinematic imagery portrays this symbiosis with striking visuals, neurons firing in human brains mirrored by the cosmic web stretching across billions of light-years, patterns repeating across scales and suggesting a fractal intelligence inherent in complexity itself. Every thought, every act of curiosity, every experiment and calculation is not merely human. It is an expression of the cosmos reflecting upon its own structure, an unfolding narrative in which matter, energy, and awareness converge. The narrative follows the evolution of human understanding from its earliest origins to the present. Primitive humans, observing celestial cycles and natural rhythms, began encoding these patterns into language, art, and ritual. Stone circles align with solstices, cave paintings depict animals and celestial phenomena, and oral traditions preserve knowledge of environmental patterns across generations. Cinematic sequences bring these moments to life. Firelight illuminates shadowed figures tracing constellations in dust, hands carve symbols into stone, and groups gather to share observations under the endless night sky. In these acts, humanity extends the universe's capacity to observe itself, translating perception into record, pattern, and meaning. With the advent of formal science, observation and reflection acquire new dimensions. Renaissance astronomers map the heavens with unprecedented precision, microscopes reveal unseen worlds within cells, and calculus allows the prediction of motion across space and time. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes historical innovations with modern tools. Brass telescopes and candlelit observatories, ink-stained manuscripts, high-tech laboratories with glowing monitors, and supercomputers simulating cosmic evolution. Observation becomes both empirical and abstract, a synthesis of sensory experience and intellectual insight, extending the universe's self-awareness far beyond the immediate grasp of human senses. Art and philosophy further expand the reach of consciousness. Poets, painters, and musicians interpret the cosmos through metaphor, rhythm, and symbol, capturing aspects of reality that escape scientific measurement. Cinematic sequences illustrate these connections: the spiral of a galaxy mirrored in brushstrokes, the rhythm of a symphony echoing orbital mechanics, a poet's hand writing under the glow of a window framing the night sky. These cultural expressions are not mere reflections. They are active participants in the universe's observation, translating patterns of matter and energy into the language of awareness, emotion, and aesthetic comprehension. The narrative emphasizes the recursive nature of awareness. Observation informs understanding, understanding shapes creation, and creation generates new opportunities for observation. Scientific discoveries inspire philosophical reflection, which in turn informs further inquiry. Cinematic imagery depicts this recursion visually. Light from distant stars captured in telescopes, analyzed by computers, interpreted by human minds, then represented through art or communicated through language, forming a loop in which the universe continuously perceives, reflects, and expresses itself. Awareness becomes both a product and a medium of cosmic self-perception, evolving across scales of time, space, and complexity. Technological advancements accelerate this process. Space exploration, from robotic probes to manned missions, allows humans to experience environments far beyond Earth. Instruments detect gravitational waves, cosmic radiation, and particle interactions, revealing hidden dynamics of the universe. Cinematic sequences show spacecraft gliding silently through the void, telescopes capturing light from the earliest galaxies, and detectors buried deep underground sensing ephemeral particles. Each technological extension of perception magnifies consciousness, creating new avenues for the universe to observe and understand itself. The interplay of consciousness and observation has profound philosophical and existential dimensions. If awareness is fundamental to the universe, then the act of observation is participatory. Humans do not merely witness cosmic events, they influence the interpretation and meaning of reality itself. Cinematic imagery portrays this subtle interplay. Equations describing celestial motion are superimposed on star fields, neural networks illuminate in parallel with cosmic filaments, and human faces reflect the glow of understanding against the night sky. Observation becomes an act of creation, shaping not just human knowledge but the universe's unfolding self-awareness. Quantum mechanics deepens the mystery. The observer effect demonstrates that measurement collapses probabilities into concrete outcomes, suggesting that consciousness is entangled with reality at the most fundamental level. Cinematic metaphors visualize waves of potential solidifying as human minds perceive them, connecting thought, awareness, and the material world. The narrative emphasizes tension and wonder. The universe does not merely exist, it is made manifest through observation, implying that consciousness and reality are intertwined in a cosmic dialogue. As civilizations rise, networks of knowledge form. Libraries, universities, research institutions, and now the internet allow humans to collectively observe, store, and analyze information. Cinematic imagery depicts vast repositories of human understanding, stacks of books, glowing servers, and virtual data streams interweaving global thought. These collective processes magnify awareness, creating a shared consciousness capable of perceiving patterns and connections inaccessible to individuals alone. Humanity, in this sense, becomes the instrument through which the universe achieves self-reflection on a global scale. The narrative explores the balance of scales. Microcosm and macrocosm, the neuron and the galaxy, the fleeting human moment and cosmic eternity, are woven together. Cinematic sequences shift seamlessly between an electron orbiting a nucleus, a brain synapse firing, and a supernova exploding light years away. These visual metaphors reinforce the idea that awareness is not limited to one scale but resonates across all levels of complexity. Each observation contributes to the universe's ongoing self-recognition, linking the intimate with the infinite. Ethical and existential implications arise naturally. If the universe perceives itself through human consciousness, the way humans act, create, and observe carries weight. Scientific exploration, technological innovation, environmental stewardship, and cultural production all influence the quality and scope of cosmic self-awareness. Cinematic sequences juxtapose human activity, cities, laboratories, space missions, with cosmic vistas, emphasizing responsibility as part of the universe's participatory observation. Awareness is not passive. It is active, creative, and ethical, shaping the trajectory of understanding itself. The section culminates in a vision of the universe as a dynamic, self-observing entity. Human consciousness, extended through art, science, and technology, forms a feedback loop in which perception, understanding, and creation are inseparable. Cinematic imagery blends neurons, galaxies, and human faces into a seamless tapestry, suggesting that the universe's capacity for self-awareness is both emergent and inevitable. The narrative evokes awe, humility, and wonder, emphasizing that the act of observing is not merely human, it is cosmic, a fundamental aspect of reality coming to know itself. By the end, viewers perceive the universe as alive with reflection, with humanity as a focal point in an intricate web of awareness. The dance of consciousness unfolds across space and time, linking atoms, neurons, civilizations, and galaxies in an ongoing act of perception. Cinematic storytelling merges scale, time, and complexity, the fleeting moment of insight mirrored in eternal cosmic structures, thought resonating with star formation, awareness expanding alongside the growth of knowledge. The universe, once distant and silent, now engages in a dialogue with itself, and humanity, through observation, imagination, and creativity, participates in the most profound act of all, the universe watching itself with wonder, understanding, and intention. Every observation, every act of consciousness, weaves the universe into a complex tapestry, connecting the smallest particle to the grandest galaxy. Cinematic imagery portrays this interconnectedness. Subatomic particles vibrating in invisible rhythms, neurons firing in the human brain, rivers carving landscapes, and galaxies spinning in cosmic dance, all linked by subtle threads of cause, effect, and awareness. The narrative emphasizes that reality is not a collection of isolated events but a dynamic web, where every action resonates across scales, from the intimate to the infinite. Human perception becomes the lens through which the universe apprehends these connections, translating the invisible into understanding, patterns into meaning. Scientific inquiry illuminates the structure of this web. Physics reveals forces that bind matter and energy, gravity sculpting galaxies, electromagnetism guiding chemical reactions, and the strong and weak nuclear forces stabilizing atomic nuclei. Quantum entanglement demonstrates connections across unimaginable distances, as particles separated by light years mirror each other's states instantaneously. Cinematic sequences illustrate this invisible web, streaks of light tracing the paths of entangled particles, cosmic filaments stretching across billions of light years, and synapses firing in human brains, all suggesting that interconnectedness is fundamental to reality. Each discovery enhances the universe's capacity for self-observation, showing how intricately perception and existence are intertwined. Life itself is a crucial node in this web. From the first single-celled organisms to complex multicellular beings, life amplifies awareness. Biological systems process information, respond to stimuli, and adapt to changing environments, extending the universe's self-reflective reach. Cinematic imagery depicts ecosystems in motion, swarms of insects coordinating effortlessly, forests alive with subtle interactions, and oceans teeming with life that senses, responds, and communicates. Each organism participates in the grand network of reality, a strand of awareness contributing to the universe's ability to perceive, act, and evolve. Human consciousness, with its capacity for abstraction and reflection, occupies a unique place in this network. Language, mathematics, and art become instruments for mapping and expressing the interconnections of reality. A physicist calculating the orbit of a distant exoplanet, an artist painting the undulating patterns of a river delta, and a poet capturing the fleeting essence of emotion, all are nodes through which the universe observes itself. Cinematic sequences weave these activities into the cosmic web. Ink on parchment mirrors flowing galaxies, algorithms tracing patterns in data reflect branching neurons, and cultural expressions echo rhythms found in nature. Consciousness becomes both participant and observer, bridging the tangible and the abstract, the material and the conceptual. Technology further extends this web of reality. Supercomputers simulate the evolution of galaxies, neural networks analyze astronomical data, and instruments detect forces and particles invisible to the naked eye. Cinematic imagery illustrates these extensions. Satellites orbiting Earth, telescopes peering into distant galaxies, and detectors capturing fleeting signals from cosmic phenomena. Human cognition amplified by machines increases the universe's capacity for self-observation, transforming individual awareness into a collective, global lens. Knowledge becomes a networked process, where discoveries in one domain illuminate connections across disciplines, reinforcing the sense that the universe is continuously integrating, reflecting, and understanding itself. Quantum mechanics deepens the complexity of this web. Superposition, entanglement, and uncertainty reveal a universe in which observation is inseparable from reality. Cinematic metaphors depict ghostly waves of probability collapsing into tangible outcomes as observers interact with them, reinforcing the notion that consciousness and existence are intertwined. This perspective suggests that the universe is not passive but participatory, with each act of perception shaping the unfolding structure of reality. Awareness becomes a force, subtle yet fundamental, participating in the continual weaving of the cosmic web. The narrative emphasizes temporal interconnectedness. Light from distant stars travels for billions of years before reaching our eyes, linking past and present in a continuous thread of perception. Human memories, cultural traditions, and accumulated scientific knowledge similarly connect generations, allowing consciousness to extend across time. Cinematic sequences juxtapose ancient cave paintings with cutting-edge telescopic imagery, connecting ancestral awareness with modern understanding. In this interplay of scales and epochs, the universe's capacity for self-reflection is both cumulative and emergent, continuously enriched by the interplay of observation, memory, and discovery. Ethics and responsibility emerge as intrinsic elements of this interconnected web. Humans, as conscious participants, influence not only their immediate environment but the broader structure of reality through observation, action, and creativity. Cinematic imagery contrasts bustling cities, industrial landscapes, and natural ecosystems, highlighting the consequences of human intervention. Awareness is not passive. It is participatory, shaping the evolution of both the mind and the cosmos. The narrative suggests that every choice, every act of understanding reverberates through the web, reinforcing the significance of conscious engagement with reality. Philosophical and spiritual dimensions intertwine with scientific insights. The interconnectedness revealed by observation echoes ancient contemplations of unity, suggesting that awareness itself may be woven into the fabric of existence. Cinematic sequences blend neurons, rivers, mountains, and galaxies into a single visual continuum, evoking a sense of awe and humility. Humans, in perceiving and interpreting these patterns, act as conduits for the universe's self-recognition. Each act of creation, calculation, or reflection reinforces the tapestry, allowing consciousness to resonate across scales, times, and dimensions. The narrative also explores complexity as a hallmark of awareness. Systems ranging from atomic to ecological to cosmic exhibit emergent properties that cannot be understood by examining parts in isolation. Cinematic imagery illustrates nested layers of structure. Molecular interactions within cells, neural circuits in brains, ecosystems with intricate feedback loops, and galaxies interacting in gravitational dance. Awareness emerges from these interactions, not as a single point, but as a distributed property of interconnected systems. The universe, through consciousness, perceives patterns that are both intricate and expansive, simultaneously intimate and universal. By the end of this section, viewers feel the profound depth of interconnection. Every particle, organism, thought, and galaxy is part of a dynamic, evolving network through which the universe observes, reflects, and understands itself. Cinematic storytelling merges scales and dimensions, blending neurons, human activity, ecosystems, and cosmic structures into a seamless continuum. Consciousness becomes both mirror and lens, bridging the micro and macro, the fleeting and eternal, the known and the unknown. The universe is alive with perception, and through the web of reality, it continuously witnesses, interprets, and participates in its own unfolding. Time is the medium through which the universe narrates its story, and consciousness is the mirror reflecting that narrative back. Cinematic imagery portrays this interplay. Rivers carve canyons over millennia, glaciers shift imperceptibly across frozen landscapes, galaxies collide and disperse in slow-motion cosmic ballets, while human eyes blink in fleeting moments of awareness, tracing the same patterns of change. From the earliest instincts to the deliberate recording of events, humans have observed and interpreted time, creating frameworks that allow the universe to perceive itself through memory, measurement, and anticipation. Each tick of a clock, each recorded event, and every act of recollection extends the web of self-awareness, linking the ephemeral with the eternal. The narrative begins with early human perceptions of temporal cycles. The rising and setting of the sun, the phases of the moon, the seasonal migration of animals, and the flooding of rivers formed the first calendars, imprinted in stone, wood, and oral traditions. Cinematic sequences bring these ancient observations to life. Shamans and villagers charting the stars, hands tracing the lunar cycles in sand, and primitive monuments aligning with solstices, capturing fleeting moments of the cosmos in enduring structures. These acts of observation are not merely practical. They represent the universe gaining awareness of its own patterns through the eyes of conscious observers. As civilizations advanced, the measurement of time became increasingly sophisticated. Sundials, water clocks, and eventually mechanical timepieces allowed humans to quantify temporal change with precision. Cinematic imagery depicts craftsmen building intricate gears, shadows shifting across engraved dials, and flowing water marking the passage of hours, all under the gaze of attentive observers. Each technological advance extends the universe's self-perception, enabling consciousness to perceive not just events but the relationships between them, the sequences and rhythms that govern both matter and life. Human understanding of time deepened with the advent of astronomy and mathematics. Observatories tracked planetary motion, eclipses were predicted, and calendars were synchronized with cosmic events. Cinematic sequences show astronomers meticulously charting star positions, comparing data across decades, and deriving patterns that connect human experience to the vast cycles of the cosmos. The universe, through these calculations and observations, reflects upon its own regularities, achieving a form of self-recognition across eons. Patterns once invisible become legible, and the act of measurement transforms the universe's hidden motions into conscious insight. The narrative moves to the philosophical implications of temporal awareness. Humans are aware of their own mortality, the inevitability of change, and the finite span of life. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes the fleeting human existence. A child growing into adulthood, a city rising and decaying, with cosmic events unfolding over billions of years. Awareness of time imbues human experience with meaning, urgency, and reflection, allowing the universe to perceive itself not only through spatial structure but through the transient consciousness of beings capable of witnessing impermanence. The tension between the ephemeral and the eternal evokes awe and contemplation, highlighting the remarkable ability of consciousness to bridge these scales. Modern physics transforms the understanding of time from a linear, absolute measure to a dynamic, relative dimension. Einstein's theory of relativity reveals time as intertwined with space, bending under gravity, dilating near massive objects, and flowing differently for observers in motion relative to one another. Cinematic imagery visualizes these effects: light curving around black holes, clocks ticking at different rates, and astronauts floating in the distorted fabric of spacetime. These revelations deepen the sense that consciousness itself is a lens through which the universe apprehends its temporal fabric. Observation does not merely record time, it interacts with it, revealing the participatory nature of perception. Quantum mechanics adds another layer of complexity. At the smallest scales, time becomes probabilistic, events occur in superpositions, and causality is not always deterministic. Cinematic sequences depict ghostly waves collapsing into particles, sequences of events flickering between possibilities until observed, reinforcing the notion that perception is inseparable from the unfolding of reality. Consciousness, through attention and measurement, becomes a factor in how time and events manifest, highlighting the universe's recursive self-observation. Every measurement, every conscious choice, reverberates across the web of temporal reality, linking observer and observed inextricably. Technological innovations amplify humanity's temporal perception. Atomic clocks measure time with unprecedented accuracy, GPS satellites synchronize global networks, and simulations recreate events from the Big Bang to the present with extraordinary precision. Cinematic imagery shows scientists monitoring data streams, satellites orbiting Earth, and supercomputers modeling cosmic evolution. Each extension of temporal awareness allows the universe to observe itself more intricately, connecting events across vast scales and transforming fleeting instants into enduring patterns of insight. Through these instruments, consciousness reaches backward and forward, linking the ancient past with the unfolding future. Cultural expressions further enrich temporal self-awareness. Literature, music, and visual art preserve experiences across generations, allowing humans to perceive time collectively. Cinematic sequences illustrate this interplay. An ancient scroll beside a digital archive, melodies echoing through centuries, paintings capturing fleeting moments that resonate eternally. Human memory, encoded both biologically and culturally, enables the universe to witness its own evolution, recording change and continuity simultaneously. Each act of remembrance, storytelling, or historical documentation becomes a node in the ongoing observation of cosmic processes. The narrative also emphasizes the emotional dimension of temporal perception. Awareness of time evokes hope, fear, longing, and wonder. The anticipation of discovery, the mourning of loss, and the exhilaration of understanding all connect human consciousness to the temporal rhythms of the cosmos. Cinematic imagery contrasts fleeting human gestures, a hand reaching out, a tear falling, eyes widening in awe, with the slow motion of cosmic phenomena, stars forming, galaxies colliding, and light traversing billions of years. Through emotion, consciousness not only observes but interprets, embedding narrative and significance into the unfolding of reality. By the conclusion of this section, viewers sense the profound interplay between time and consciousness. The universe, through humans, observes not only spatial structures but the unfolding of events, the cycles of matter and energy, and the emergence of patterns across eons. Cinematic storytelling merges micro and macro, fleeting moments with cosmic epochs, perception with the flow of reality. Awareness of time transforms observation into understanding, connecting the ephemeral with the eternal and enabling the universe to witness its own story with increasing clarity, depth, and resonance. Every act of observation, whether conscious or mechanized, adds a note to the universe's evolving symphony. Cinematic imagery portrays this with sweeping visuals, telescopes capturing the faint glow of distant galaxies, microscopes revealing the intricate architecture of cells, and human eyes reflecting the light of stars. Each observation, each measurement, each reflection, is a resonance in the grand orchestra of existence, where matter, energy, and awareness interact in dynamic harmony. The universe, through conscious beings, does not merely exist. It perceives, interprets, and responds, creating patterns of understanding that ripple across scales from the subatomic to the cosmic. The narrative begins with the earliest acts of human observation. Prehistoric humans, attuned to the cycles of sun, moon, and seasons, learn to predict, adapt, and survive. Cinematic sequences depict shadows moving across sundials, hunters noting animal migration, and communities aligning rituals with celestial events. These early acts of observation were the first echoes in the cosmic symphony, rudimentary yet profound, as consciousness began to trace patterns in nature, translating environmental rhythms into knowledge and meaning. The universe, through these early humans, began to sense itself. As civilizations advanced, systematic observation emerged. Ancient astronomers charted the stars with painstaking care, philosophers contemplated the nature of existence, and scientists developed methods to test hypotheses rigorously. Cinematic imagery illustrates the contrast between meticulous record-keeping in candlelit observatories and the vastness of the night sky, emphasizing the interplay between human scale and cosmic immensity. Each observation added complexity to the symphony, expanding the universe's self-perception through layers of abstraction, calculation, and reflection. Mathematics became the language through which observation was codified. Equations describing planetary motion, the behavior of light, and the fundamental forces of nature translated raw sensory data into comprehensible patterns. Cinematic sequences visualize this. Chalkboards filled with formulas overlaid on celestial panoramas, graphs mapping particle interactions across time and space, and computer simulations animating the unfolding of cosmic events. Through these symbols, humans extended their perceptual reach, allowing the universe to apprehend structures and dynamics otherwise invisible. Observation, measurement, and interpretation became intertwined, creating a recursive feedback loop in which consciousness amplified the universe's awareness of itself. Quantum mechanics introduced a revolutionary understanding of observation. The act of measurement collapses superpositions into reality, suggesting that consciousness is not a passive witness but an active participant in shaping existence. Cinematic metaphors depict ghostly waves of probability solidifying as observers focus attention, electrons and photons revealing themselves only when measured. This intertwining of perception and reality emphasizes that awareness itself is a force, subtle yet fundamental, contributing to the universe's ongoing self-reflection. Each observation resonates through the fabric of reality, reinforcing the participatory nature of consciousness. The narrative explores the role of technology in expanding observation. Telescopes peer across billions of light-years, particle detectors capture fleeting interactions, and AI algorithms sift through immense datasets. Cinematic sequences depict satellites gliding silently through space, laboratory instruments glowing with measurement, and researchers analyzing data in dimly lit rooms. Technology transforms human observation into a distributed process, magnifying consciousness and extending the universe's self-perception beyond the limitations of the naked eye. Instruments act as extensions of mind, translating invisible phenomena into perceptible patterns, each contributing a note to the symphony of understanding. Interconnectedness is a central theme. Observations in one domain reveal patterns in another. Quantum behavior informs cosmology, biological insights illuminate systems theory, and cultural expression reflects universal principles. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes neurons firing with galaxies spinning, cellular processes with planetary motion, and brushstrokes on canvas with orbital mechanics. These visual metaphors highlight the resonance between scales, showing that the act of observation connects disparate realms, weaving a coherent narrative from the apparent chaos of the universe. Awareness, perception, and insight emerge from these connections, forming the threads of a cosmic symphony. The emotional dimension of observation is emphasized. Awe, curiosity, fear, and wonder are not mere byproducts. They are integral to perception. Cinematic sequences illustrate the visceral experience. A child staring at the night sky, a scientist witnessing a supernova through a telescope, and an artist capturing ephemeral light in painting. These moments convey the universe's resonance through human experience, as emotion shapes understanding and awareness. Observation is not only a cognitive act but a deeply felt engagement with reality, enhancing the richness of the universe's self-reflection. Philosophical implications deepen the narrative. If the universe observes itself through conscious beings, then every act of perception is participatory. The observer is entwined with the observed. Knowledge, measurement, and interpretation alter reality in subtle ways. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes scientific experiments with cosmic phenomena, particle collisions mirrored in the dance of galaxies, neural networks reflecting the patterns of dark matter, human gestures resonating with the unfolding of cosmic events. Awareness is both a mirror and a lens, reflecting reality and shaping it simultaneously, forming a dynamic, interactive symphony of existence. The narrative explores collective observation. Human societies, through communication, culture, and technology, aggregate awareness into a global network. Libraries, digital archives, and collaborative research institutions amplify the capacity for observation, allowing patterns and insights to emerge that no individual could perceive alone. Cinematic sequences depict information flowing through supercomputers, global networks of telescopes capturing simultaneous data, and minds collaborating across continents. Consciousness becomes distributed, a chorus of observation extending the universe's self-reflective reach. Temporal awareness reinforces the symphony. Observing events across different scales of time, from fleeting neuronal firings to the slow evolution of galaxies, allows consciousness to perceive causality, patterns, and emergence. Cinematic imagery interweaves rapid, intimate moments with slow cosmic processes, a heartbeat mirrored in the pulse of a star, a single thought reflected in the spin of a galaxy. Through these juxtapositions, awareness transcends scale, connecting microcosm and macrocosm in a continuous temporal dance, enhancing the universe's self-recognition. By the conclusion of this section, viewers experience the profound complexity of observation. The universe, through conscious beings, is both spectator and participant, composing a symphony that resonates across scales, dimensions, and epochs. Cinematic storytelling merges neurons, galaxies, human activity, and cosmic phenomena into a seamless continuum. Awareness, observation, and reflection form the melody, rhythm, and harmony of existence, revealing a cosmos alive not merely with matter and energy but with perception, understanding, and the dynamic interplay of consciousness itself. Each note of observation echoes across the universe, creating a symphony that is at once intimate, vast, and eternal, a testament to the profound power of awareness to illuminate reality. Human curiosity has always been the engine propelling the universe toward ever-expanding horizons of understanding. Cinematic imagery portrays this journey in sweeping detail. Explorers standing at cliff edges, gazing into endless deserts. Astronomers peering through massive telescopes at galaxies millions of light-years away, and spacecraft gliding silently through the cosmic void, capturing phenomena invisible to the naked eye. Each act of inquiry, every question asked, every experiment conducted is a step toward revealing hidden layers of reality. Consciousness functions simultaneously as both probe and lens, allowing the universe to examine itself with an ever-increasing sophistication. With each discovery, new connections are illuminated, weaving a tapestry that spans from the intimate intricacies of human thought to the sprawling architecture of galactic superclusters. The universe is, in essence, learning to see itself through the minds it has birthed. The narrative begins by tracing the evolution of inquiry from its earliest manifestations. Early humans, observing the natural cycles of day, night, seasons, and animal behavior, began to form the first tentative models of cause and effect. Cinematic sequences depict hunters noting migration patterns, shamans interpreting celestial alignments, and communities encoding seasonal changes into stories and rituals. These rudimentary observations represent the first conscious attempts of the universe to perceive its own rhythms, capturing patterns that would echo across millennia. Through these small but deliberate acts of attention, the cosmos begins a self-reflective process that will accelerate dramatically with the emergence of civilization. As civilizations developed, systematic inquiry emerged as a central instrument of cosmic self-awareness. Ancient astronomers charted the stars, mathematicians discovered patterns in numbers, and philosophers contemplated the principles underlying existence itself. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes meticulous scribes recording celestial movements with the immensity of the night sky, highlighting the tension between human scale and cosmic vastness. Each observation, calculation, and philosophical insight extends the universe's capacity for self-reflection. Knowledge becomes a mirror through which the universe apprehends not just its own structures but the principles governing their interactions. Observation evolves into structured understanding, allowing reality to perceive the patterns that shape its own dynamics. The narrative then transitions to the transformative impact of the scientific revolution. Instruments extend perception beyond natural limits. Telescopes uncover distant galaxies, microscopes reveal microscopic architecture, and spectrometers capture energy patterns across the electromagnetic spectrum. Cinematic sequences portray these tools in motion. Glass lenses magnifying faint stars, laboratory instruments glowing in darkness, and supercomputers simulating cosmic events. Human observation, augmented by technology, allows the universe to witness itself in unprecedented detail, merging microcosmic and macrocosmic perspectives into a unified continuum of understanding. Consciousness now operates across scales previously unimaginable, bridging the gap between the subatomic and the intergalactic. Quantum mechanics challenges traditional notions of reality, revealing a world where observation shapes outcomes, probabilities govern existence, and entanglement links phenomena across vast distances. Cinematic metaphors depict ghostly waves condensing into tangible events, particles interacting across space, and human consciousness participating in these fundamental processes. Observation is no longer passive. It is active and transformative, participating directly in the unfolding of reality. Awareness, in this context, becomes both medium and agent, capable of influencing the phenomena it perceives. The universe begins to apprehend itself not just through measurement but through the very act of observation, revealing a deep reciprocity between consciousness and existence. Cultural evolution enhances this process of self-reflection. As humans develop language, record knowledge, and form institutions, awareness becomes cumulative. Cinematic imagery captures the proliferation of libraries, observatories, and collaborative research across centuries, illustrating the aggregation of knowledge. Humanity acts as a distributed lens, magnifying the universe's capacity for self-observation. Networks of observation and understanding allow patterns to emerge, relationships to be clarified, and the scope of comprehension to expand exponentially. Observation is no longer confined to the individual, it is amplified through collective endeavor. Temporal awareness is central to understanding. Light from distant stars reaches Earth after billions of years, geological strata preserve planetary history, and fossils encode life's evolutionary record. Cinematic sequences intertwine these timescales. Photons traveling through space, tree rings marking decades, and glaciers forming over millennia. Observation across time links past, present, and future, enabling awareness to trace the universe's unfolding narrative and perceive patterns invisible in the immediate moment. The cosmos experiences itself temporally, understanding its own evolution through the minds that observe it. Emotion, wonder, and curiosity drive exploration. Awe motivates scientific inquiry, fear tempers ambition, and the thrill of discovery inspires risk-taking. Cinematic sequences depict a scientist reacting to unexpected data, an explorer standing at the precipice of a vast canyon, and a child gazing at the night sky in wonder. Emotion is inseparable from cognition. It shapes attention, interpretation, and the resonance of insight. Through emotional engagement, the universe extends its self-awareness, gaining the ability to apprehend subtleties that pure logic alone might miss. The narrative also emphasizes the recursive nature of discovery. Each observation informs theory, each theory guides experiments, and each experiment produces further data, creating a feedback loop. Cinematic sequences illustrate this process. Simulations predicting cosmic events, experiments confirming outcomes, and researchers refining hypotheses. Understanding evolves dynamically, never static, as consciousness iteratively refines perception and interpretation. The universe, through this ongoing loop of inquiry, becomes increasingly self-aware, constantly expanding its horizon of knowledge. Ethical and philosophical considerations emerge alongside understanding. Humanity, as the conscious lens through which the universe perceives itself, carries responsibility for the knowledge it generates. Cinematic imagery contrasts scientific achievement with environmental degradation and societal conflict, highlighting the consequences of observation and action. Awareness is participatory. The pursuit of knowledge is intertwined with the choices made in shaping reality. Understanding is inseparable from stewardship, and insight carries ethical weight, reinforcing the interconnectedness of perception and consequence. The narrative extends into the exploration of interconnectedness across scales. From quantum fluctuations to neuronal activity to galactic rotations, all phenomena are linked in a dynamic continuum. Cinematic imagery merges microcosm and macrocosm. Electrons orbiting nuclei mirrored by planets orbiting stars, neural networks reflecting galactic spirals, and ecological cycles resonating with cosmic rhythms. Awareness navigates these layers, detecting resonance, patterns, and emergent properties. The universe perceives itself holistically, integrating observation, interpretation, and comprehension across scales. By the conclusion of this expanded section, viewers grasp the expansive horizon of understanding. Cinematic storytelling interweaves human ingenuity, neural processes, cosmic events, and emergent life into a seamless narrative. The universe, through human consciousness, continuously extends the frontier of observation, revealing structures, laws, and patterns from subatomic particles to galactic superclusters. Consciousness becomes both participant and witness, navigating the horizon where knowledge and mystery converge. The symphony of understanding unfolds in infinite resonance, a continuous process of discovery, reflection, and comprehension, uniting mind, matter, and cosmos in an awe-inspiring panorama of self-awareness. At the outermost boundaries of perception lies the edge of infinity, a realm where human understanding meets the vast, uncharted expanse of the cosmos. Cinematic imagery captures this threshold with staggering visuals: swirling galaxies extending beyond the visible horizon, black holes distorting spacetime, nebulae glowing in ethereal colors unseen by the naked eye, and cosmic filaments stretching across the void. Consciousness, acting as the universe's reflective lens, reaches toward this infinite expanse, attempting to grasp phenomena that continually challenge comprehension. Every discovery, every question posed at this boundary, pushes the frontier of awareness further, expanding the universe's capacity to perceive and understand itself. The edge of infinity is not merely a physical frontier but a conceptual one, a space where the known collides with the unknowable, where curiosity becomes the bridge connecting perception with the mysteries that lie beyond. The narrative begins with humanity's earliest encounters with the infinite. Ancient civilizations looked to the night sky, pondering the origin of stars, the cycles of life and death, and the vastness beyond their immediate world. Myths, rituals, and art encoded awe, fear, and wonder, translating the incomprehensible into narrative forms humans could engage with. Cinematic sequences depict megalithic structures aligned with celestial events, shamans tracing constellations in sand, and artists capturing swirling patterns of the heavens on clay and canvas. Through these acts, the universe apprehended its own enormity via the lens of human perception. The infinite was first experienced emotionally and symbolically, a bridge between human understanding and cosmic mystery. With the emergence of modern astronomy, the edge of infinity transformed from myth to measurable reality. Telescopes revealed galaxies billions of light-years away, their light traveling across the vastness of space and time to reach observers on Earth. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes astronomers in silent observatories with simulations of cosmic evolution unfolding over eons. Through these observations, the universe gained a new form of self-reflection. Humans could witness not only local phenomena but the grand, interconnected tapestry of space-time, extending awareness across unimaginable distances. Each photon captured, each spectrum analyzed, became a thread in the universe's own perception of itself. Physics and cosmology pushed the edge of understanding even further. The discovery of dark matter and dark energy revealed that the majority of reality remains hidden, an unseen framework shaping the cosmos. Cinematic sequences depict galaxies being tugged by invisible forces, space stretching and bending and gravitational lensing altering light's path across billions of years. The unknown dominates at this frontier, reminding us that observation is always partial and constrained by the limitations of both instruments and perception. Yet it is precisely this mystery that drives inquiry, fueling humanity's, and the universe's, relentless quest to extend awareness into realms that lie beyond immediate comprehension. Quantum mechanics complicates the concept of infinity even further. Subatomic particles exist in states of probability, entangled across immense distances, while spacetime itself bends and warps under the influence of massive objects. Cinematic imagery visualizes these phenomena, ghostly waves collapsing into tangible states upon observation, photons entangled across light years, and black holes twisting the very fabric of reality. Observation is no longer passive. It actively participates in shaping the phenomena it seeks to measure. Awareness becomes both mirror and agent, contributing to the universe's unfolding complexity, allowing reality to perceive itself in ways that transcend classical understanding. Imagination plays a pivotal role in approaching infinity. Humans, through thought experiments and creative vision, explore possibilities that lie beyond empirical reach. Cinematic sequences portray abstract patterns spiraling endlessly, fractal landscapes extending into infinite complexity, and simulations of hypothetical multiverses. Through imagination, the universe projects self-reflection beyond the observable, contemplating alternate realities, hidden dimensions, and emergent structures that exist at the fringes of comprehension. Consciousness becomes both probe and lens, enabling the cosmos to explore possibilities, paradoxes, and truths that remain beyond direct observation. Technological advancement accelerates this exploration. Space telescopes capture light from the earliest galaxies, particle accelerators reveal the structure of matter, and gravitational wave detectors sense collisions of massive black holes across the cosmos. Cinematic sequences depict engineers and scientists monitoring instruments, satellites gliding silently through space, and computers rendering simulations of cosmic evolution. Each act of observation extends human, and by extension cosmic, awareness into previously inaccessible realms. Instruments become extensions of perception, translating invisible phenomena into comprehensible patterns, each contributing to the universe's ongoing self-reflection. Philosophical implications of the edge of infinity are profound. As the universe reaches toward the unknowable, questions of existence, consciousness, and purpose become intertwined. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes the infinite void with human contemplation, a solitary figure gazing at the Milky Way, neurons firing in synchrony, and abstract equations mapping the underlying laws of reality. Awareness is both humbled and elevated by the infinite. It recognizes its limitations, confronts the unknowable, and yet persists in the pursuit of understanding. Observation becomes an act of both courage and curiosity, affirming that consciousness is integral to the cosmos' ongoing dialogue with itself. Emotional engagement drives the journey to infinity. Awe, fear, wonder, and humility shape the experience of observing the cosmos. Cinematic sequences depict a child marveling at the night sky, an astronomer witnessing a distant supernova, and an artist translating ethereal phenomena into visual form. Emotion is inseparable from perception, coloring interpretation and motivating inquiry. Through emotional resonance, consciousness extends the universe's ability to experience itself, infusing observation with significance, meaning, and depth. Interconnectedness across scales defines the nature of infinity. From quantum fluctuations to the evolution of galaxies, from neuronal networks to planetary ecosystems, all phenomena are entwined in a vast, dynamic web. Cinematic imagery blends microcosm and macrocosm. Electrons orbiting nuclei mirrored by planetary systems, neural networks echoing spiral galaxies, and ecological cycles resonating with cosmic rhythms. Awareness traverses these layers, detecting resonance, correlations, and emergent structures. The edge of infinity is a conceptual space where perception spans scales, unifying observation, interpretation, and insight into a holistic understanding of existence. Temporal perception further enriches the edge of infinity. Light from distant stars carries information from billions of years ago. Fossils record the history of life. Planetary strata preserve the memory of environmental change. Cinematic sequences interweave fleeting human moments with cosmic epochs. A heartbeat mirrored in the life cycle of a star, civilizations rising and falling alongside the motion of galaxies. By perceiving across time, awareness connects past, present, and future, allowing consciousness to witness the unfolding narrative of the universe and to contemplate its own role within it. By the conclusion of this expanded section, viewers grasp the profound magnitude, mystery, and beauty of the infinite. Cinematic storytelling merges cosmic vistas, microscopic processes, human cognition, and the emergent patterns of life into a seamless continuum. The edge of infinity becomes a space of both challenge and inspiration, where curiosity, observation, and imagination converge. Consciousness extends into the unknown, perceives the unperceived, and participates in the universe's ongoing act of self-observation. Every question, every imaginative leap, every act of inquiry becomes a contribution to the symphony of understanding, bridging finite perception with the infinite, and revealing the cosmos as a living, aware, and endlessly unfolding entity. The universe is not merely a passive stage upon which events unfold. It is a dynamic entity capable of observing, reflecting, and understanding itself through the emergent phenomenon of consciousness. Cinematic imagery captures this concept in breathtaking scope. Galaxies spiraling silently through the void, neurons firing in human brains, coral reefs pulsing with life, and forests shifting subtly with the seasons. Every observation, every flicker of awareness, every interaction between living beings and their environment contributes to the cosmos perceiving itself. Consciousness, whether in the simplest microbe responding to stimuli or the human mind unraveling the mysteries of quantum mechanics, is the mechanism through which the universe experiences self-reflection, creating a feedback loop where observation and being are inseparable, where awareness shapes reality and reality shapes awareness. The narrative begins with the evolutionary emergence of awareness. Life on Earth, from single-celled organisms sensing chemical gradients to complex multicellular animals navigating intricate ecosystems, provides the first instruments through which the universe observes itself. Cinematic sequences depict microorganisms reacting to subtle environmental changes, shoals of fish moving in near-perfect synchronization, and predators developing strategies to survive. Each action, though small, is a reflection of the universe's capacity for self-perception, revealing patterns and structures encoded within nature itself. Awareness at this level is rudimentary, yet profound, allowing the cosmos to perceive its own dynamics through emergent behaviors and living systems. As species evolved, consciousness gained depth, abstraction, and the capacity for narrative. Language enabled reflection, thought allowed prediction, and culture preserved collective knowledge across generations. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes a prehistoric storyteller around a fire with a modern physicist analyzing cosmic microwave background data, illustrating continuity in the universe's self-perception. Through human cognition, the cosmos achieves a form of meta-awareness. It not only exists but understands, interprets, and projects patterns of its own structure and behavior. Art, science, and philosophy act as instruments through which the universe observes itself, embedding self-reflection into culture, creativity, and inquiry. Scientific inquiry amplifies this self-reflective process. Telescopes reveal the birth and death of stars. Particle detectors uncover interactions that define the structure of matter. Satellites detect signals from the earliest moments of cosmic history. Cinematic sequences depict researchers monitoring instruments, streams of data flowing across global networks, and simulations animating the evolution of galaxies. Each observation extends the universe's self-awareness, transforming raw information into insight, perception into understanding, and transient events into coherent narratives. Observation becomes an act of participation, allowing consciousness to unfold in increasingly sophisticated ways. Quantum mechanics further entwines consciousness and reality. The observer effect demonstrates that measurement collapses superpositions, suggesting awareness actively participates in defining phenomena. Cinematic metaphors visualize probability waves solidifying into particles, entangled photons separated by light years, and electrons tracing paths influenced by observation. These phenomena illustrate a cosmos in which consciousness is not passive. Each act of awareness reverberates across the fabric of reality. The universe observes itself and is simultaneously shaped by that observation, forming an iterative loop where perception, interpretation, and existence co-evolve. Cultural and technological development magnifies collective awareness. Human societies, through shared knowledge, education, and communication, aggregate perception into global networks. Cinematic sequences depict ancient libraries alongside digital archives, collaborative laboratories spanning continents, and observatories coordinating observations worldwide. Consciousness becomes distributed, a chorus of insight through which the universe perceives itself more completely. Patterns emerge, correlations are discovered, and understanding deepens, creating a self-reflective network that transcends individual experience. The cosmos observes itself holistically, integrating local insights into a unified understanding of complex structures and processes. Philosophical reflection emphasizes the implications of a conscious cosmos. If the universe observes itself through consciousness, then observation carries responsibility. Cinematic imagery contrasts human innovation with environmental impact. Thriving cities and laboratories set against polluted rivers and deforested landscapes. Awareness is not merely cognitive, it is participatory and ethical. Each perception, decision, and creative act contributes to the universe's evolving self-awareness. Observation is inseparable from action. Understanding becomes entwined with stewardship, insight with responsibility. Interconnectedness across scales deepens this self-reflective capacity. From quantum fluctuations to neuronal firing to galactic rotations, all phenomena are part of an interwoven web. Cinematic sequences blend the microcosm and macrocosm. Electrons orbiting nuclei mirrored by planets orbiting stars, neural networks reflecting patterns of galaxies, and ecological cycles echoing cosmic rhythms. Consciousness navigates these layers, perceiving correlations, resonance, and emergent structures. The universe, through awareness, apprehends its own complexity as a holistic system, integrating observation, interpretation, and meaning across scales and dimensions. Temporal awareness enriches this self-perception. Observing events across time, from the fleeting moments of life to the evolution of species to the formation and death of stars, allows consciousness to perceive continuity, causality, and emergent complexity. Cinematic imagery interweaves human life with cosmic epochs. A heartbeat mirrored in the pulse of a star, the rise and fall of civilizations alongside light traveling across billions of light years. Awareness of time transforms perception into narrative, enabling the universe to witness not just the present but the unfolding story of existence, from its origins to its emergent patterns. Emotion, imagination, and curiosity drive the expansion of cosmic self-awareness. Awe inspires exploration, wonder fuels creativity, fear tempers ambition. Cinematic sequences depict a child gazing at a night sky, a scientist marveling at a distant supernova, and an artist translating invisible forces into form. Emotional engagement amplifies perception, enabling consciousness to recognize subtle connections, interpret complexity, and infuse observation with significance. The universe experiences itself not merely through raw data but through the interpretive lens of feeling, intuition, and creative insight. The recursive nature of observation and understanding creates an evolving feedback loop. Each insight informs further inquiry, each discovery reshapes perception, and each act of consciousness contributes to the universe's ongoing self-reflection. Cinematic sequences illustrate this interplay. A scientist adjusting hypotheses, simulations predicting cosmic events, and discoveries reframing human understanding. Observation becomes dynamic, iterative, and participatory, reinforcing the notion that consciousness is both a product and a driver of cosmic awareness. By the conclusion of this expanded section, viewers perceive the universe as a living, conscious entity. Cinematic storytelling merges neurons, galaxies, ecosystems, and human culture into a continuous, interconnected tapestry. Awareness, perception, and reflection are inseparable from existence itself. Each thought, observation, and act of understanding is a note in the cosmos' ongoing symphony of consciousness, extending its self-reflective capacity across scales, dimensions, and epochs. The universe, through conscious life, witnesses itself, interprets itself, and participates actively in its evolution, transforming existence into a dynamic, living mirror of perception, comprehension, and awe. Through this profound awareness, reality becomes self-conscious, a conscious cosmos continuously observing, shaping, and understanding itself in infinite resonance. At the culmination of perception and awareness lies the awakening of the universe, a state in which consciousness permeates existence, allowing reality to observe, reflect, and understand itself. Cinematic imagery conveys this awakening: galaxies radiating intricate structures of light and shadow, neurons firing in complex patterns within human brains, and entire ecosystems interacting in subtle, almost imperceptible synchrony. Every particle, every organism, every thought participates in this emergent phenomenon, contributing to the grand tapestry of self-reflection. The universe is no longer a passive expanse but a dynamic, participatory entity, alive with perception, resonance, and understanding. The narrative begins with the recognition that consciousness is a cumulative process. From single-celled organisms sensing their environment to the human mind interpreting quantum phenomena, awareness has evolved through countless iterations, each building upon the last. Cinematic sequences depict microorganisms responding to stimuli, flocks of birds coordinating flight in perfect synchrony, and humans developing language, art, and science. Each act of perception, however small, contributes to a growing network through which the universe experiences itself, revealing patterns that extend from the microscopic to the cosmic scale. Awareness, in this context, is both emergent and recursive, amplifying the universe's capacity for reflection. Human cognition plays a central role in this awakening. Language enables abstraction, mathematics codifies the rules of reality, and art expresses subtleties of perception that transcend words. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes a child tracing constellations with a physicist mapping the curvature of spacetime, an artist painting ethereal landscapes alongside astronomers charting distant galaxies. Through these varied forms of understanding, the universe perceives itself not only through observation but through interpretation, imagination, and creativity. Consciousness becomes the mirror, lens, and brush through which reality apprehends and articulates its own complexity. Scientific exploration amplifies this reflective capacity. Telescopes reveal the birth and death of stars, particle accelerators expose the underlying structure of matter, and satellites capture signals from the earliest moments of cosmic history. Cinematic sequences depict researchers monitoring instruments, data streams flowing across global networks, and simulations animating the universe's evolution. Each observation contributes to the universe's growing self-awareness, transforming raw data into insight, perception into comprehension, and fleeting phenomena into coherent patterns that resonate across space and time. Quantum mechanics and relativity deepen the universe's capacity for self-reflection. Superposition, entanglement, and time dilation reveal that observation and existence are intertwined, that consciousness is not merely passive but participatory. Cinematic metaphors depict probabilities condensing into reality as observers interact, photons and electrons tracing paths influenced by attention, and spacetime bending around massive objects. These phenomena illustrate a cosmos in which awareness is fundamental, each act of observation shaping the structure of reality and feeding back into the grand process of cosmic self-recognition. Collective consciousness further enhances the awakening. Human societies, through shared knowledge, cultural transmission, and technological collaboration, create networks that extend awareness beyond individual perception. Cinematic sequences show synchronized observatories across continents, digital archives preserving millennia of knowledge, and global communication linking minds in instantaneous dialogue. Awareness becomes distributed, a tapestry of insight through which the universe perceives itself more completely, connecting local experiences with universal patterns and enabling emergent understanding that transcends individual cognition. Philosophical implications of this awakening are profound. If the universe observes itself through consciousness, then knowledge, ethics, and creativity are inseparable from existence. Cinematic imagery juxtaposes human achievement with the vastness of the cosmos. Cities, laboratories, and space stations set against swirling galaxies and black holes. Awareness is participatory. Each action, each inquiry, each expression of understanding contributes to the ongoing emergence of cosmic self-reflection. The universe awakens not as a singular moment but as a continuous process, where observation and being, perception and existence, intertwine infinitely. Emotion and imagination enrich this process. Awe, wonder, curiosity, and humility color the act of observing the cosmos, motivating exploration and deepening comprehension. Cinematic sequences depict a child gazing at a night sky, a scientist marveling at a supernova, an artist capturing ephemeral beauty on canvas. Emotional engagement enhances perception, allowing consciousness to grasp subtleties, recognize patterns, and interpret complexity. The universe experiences itself not only through rational understanding but through the affective, imaginative, and creative faculties of conscious beings. Temporal awareness is integral to the awakening. Observing phenomena across scales of time, stellar life cycles, planetary formation, evolutionary change, and human history, allows consciousness to perceive continuity, causality, and emergent complexity. Cinematic imagery interweaves fleeting human moments with cosmic epochs. A heartbeat mirrored in the pulse of a star, ancient civilizations recorded alongside light from distant galaxies reaching Earth. Through temporal perception, awareness bridges microcosm and macrocosm, fleeting instant and eternal process, connecting the universe to its own unfolding narrative. Interconnectedness defines the final stage of this awakening. From quantum fluctuations to galactic superclusters, from neurons to global networks, all elements participate in a continuous web of observation, reflection, and resonance. Cinematic imagery blends scales and dimensions. Microscopic interactions mirrored in cosmic structures, human cognition reflected in planetary patterns, life cycles echoing celestial rhythms. Consciousness navigates this web, perceiving relationships, emergent structures, and the dynamic interplay of cause and effect. The universe becomes self-aware not as isolated fragments but as a holistic, integrated system, a living mirror of perception, understanding, and reflection. By the conclusion of this section, viewers perceive the universe as a conscious, awake entity. Cinematic storytelling merges human experience, neural processes, cosmic phenomena, and emergent life into a seamless continuum. Awareness, perception, and reflection are inseparable from existence. Each thought, observation, and act of understanding contributes to the universe's ongoing awakening. Reality is alive with self-reflection, resonating across scales, dimensions, and epochs. The cosmos, through the awakening of consciousness, witnesses itself, interprets itself, and participates actively in its own evolution, transforming existence into a dynamic, living narrative of perception, comprehension, and awe.